Hello, finally, and welcome to another episode of Thoughts per Episode Bleach 1000-Year Blood War Edition. This week's episode is about a week late. I'm afraid. I apologise. I had a fairly busy week in terms of content creation and just general real life stuff, and while there were a few pockets of time when I could have watched the episode and recorded my thoughts on it, I wanted to wait until I really had my full energy to give, and I'm glad I did, because I loved this episode. First and foremost, we have to talk about the meat and potatoes of this episode, which was Komamura. Captain Komamura, good doggy, that's what I'm titling this episode, and his tragic heroism. Oh my god, this was one of my favourite, captain reveals of the entire arc for me. There's still plenty of amazing stuff to come if you're an anime-only watcher, don't worry. But this is one of the ones that stands out to me, which is funny because you know how last episode I was talking about how there were so many major reveals that I just completely forgot until I reread the 1000-Year Blood War arc last year. Well, this is one of them, and I was like, how the fuck did I forget about this? Komamura, sacrificing his mortal heart to become a human with, an immortal body for a brief period of time, and how that affects his Bankai and everything as well. And I fucking loved it, because throughout all of Bleach, I was slightly bothered up until this point at the fact that you just had this wolf captain, and it's like, oh, why is he a wolf? And it's like, I don't know, an allegory for prejudice and being judged on your appearance, and that's cool, but what's the in-universe reason that he's a wolf? And it finally got answered, and not only did it finally get answered, it was also a really good payoff, because I always thought that Komamura wasn't one of the more interesting captains. His Bankai was just him but big, and it had such an obvious weakness to it, so this was such a fun way to play around with that idea and to overcome that weakness. And I love the idea of being able to gain power by getting rid of your weakness, but at a great cost, and it's only a temporary power. I think that's a really fun way of going about things. And of course, it's really sad as well, because he does this so that he can try and avenge Yamamoto, but he doesn't even get close to Iwak. He ends up defeating Bambi-chan? I forget her name. Was it Bambi? I have to admit, I do get some of these Sternritters mixed up, because I'm not as familiar with them as I am with something like the Arrancar, or I think there's more of them as well. By the way, before we get too far away from that, I love how the wings look, how each Quincy has their own wings and they're different colours, but not only that, the actual design of the wings is different for each one. For some reason, if that was in the original manga, that's not something that stuck with me, but the anime design certainly is, and I absolutely love it. I think it's so fucking cool. It's such a cool representation of their different personalities and their different powers, and you can kind of speculate on what their powers might be based on their wings, like with Gigi's wings, or Gigi. Is it Gigi or Gigi? Well, anyway, if you look at her wings, you might be able to start guessing the nature of her power. But yeah, the fucking fight between Komamura and Bambi was so good. It wasn't one of the flashier fights. It's not like an Ichigo versus an Iwak or a Yamamoto versus Iwak or whatever. But it's just the emotion behind it and the story behind it and the tactics behind it is just, ooh, chef's kiss. And I love the tragic fall at the end when Komamura is marching towards the Imperial Palace and he falls over and starts transforming into a wolf, and he realizes what the price of vengeance is and what he's paying for it. And then Iba, who was clearly watching, comes and picks him up and says, "You did nothing wrong, come on, we'll go take him on." And just that shot of the wolf lying next to the sword, I remember that clearly from the manga as well. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. And they brought back Soundscape to a door. I think it's a door. Is it a door or Ardor? I don't remember. I think I once listened to a YouTube video version of it where they had typoed it as Ardor, like the word Ardor, but I don't think it is. I think it's a door. A-D-O-R. Such a good place to use it as well. We return to the Imperial Palace. I think it's the same location, right? Are they on different floors? Are they at a different part of the Imperial Palace? Kyoriko and why don't I know your name? The sexy blonde-haired dude. Oh, Jugrum Hushwolf, I think. Yeah, baby, there's our sexy blonde boy. I really like him. I don't know why. I just do. I mean, I think I know partially why, but anyway, I really liked the Kido barrier exchange. That was fun. The main reason I bring this scene up is because Kuroko's voice actor, obviously I don't speak Japanese, but I really love what he does, where he tries to keep like the ease in his voice. He tries to keep like the laid back, oh, okay, I see what you're doing there. So are we gonna fight now? Or like, you know, he's trying to keep that in his voice, but you can hear like a slight shakiness to his tone. Like, he's the captain commander now, but clearly he is hiding a lot of anxiety about what's currently happening. And I love that. He's also sexy. How can Nano even concentrate when she's witnessing a confrontation between these two absolute chads. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about the superstar stuff because, I mean, I'm just going to flat out and come out and say it. He's like one of my least favorite Quincy's, and I can't be arsed. Like, he feels like filler. Like, obviously not filler in the way that we mean it in terms of like anime, but he feels like, all right, we need these captains to get into a fight, and he's gonna be the guy we throw characters at when we don't have other things for these characters to do. That's a little disingenuous because there are things which happen. We do get to see certain powers and stuff. Oh my god, speaking of captains, speaking of vice captains and captains meeting bad fates, poor Shinji, he was the star of last week's episode, and then he very quickly, at the beginning of this week's episode, got fucking KO'd. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's episode. I will see you sometime within the next few days for next week's episode. Thank you for catching up with this video, if you did. I know last week's episode may have pretty much left your memory at this point, so I appreciate you stopping by. I doubt this one's going to get too many views, but it was fun to record. Okay. Peace out. Oh, the Ichigo stuff! No. Stay here. Stay right here. Ichigo stuff. Full manga spoilers ahead, by the way, because this shit's different and we don't know what it is yet, and so we're speculating with the full manga spoilers. We had more Ichigo stuff. Last week I postulated that he was seeing the future. No, he's seeing the past. It's pretty much mentioned here that he's seeing the past. I also don't go and read any Reddit speculation until I'm done recording my own, and pretty much everyone was like, oh my god, he's seeing the past. I was like, oh, okay. I thought he was seeing the future. Anyway, when he was like, it seems like they're trying to test and see if he can take the Soul King's power. And when his body started contorting and he was screaming and shit, I looked like this. I was like, Ichigo, my guy, are you okay? Anyway, what's interesting is he's ended up at What's-Her-Face's part of the Soul King's place. And I don't remember that happening either. Again, he pretty much just gets sent down to help out a little bit before this point, so I'm very curious to see how things progress. But anyway, that's going to do it for real for now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.